Okay, we're going to learn to multiply fractions today. And fractions means set sort. So it's going to look like something like 14 thirds. And to multiply mixed numbers, which if we change this over here, that'll look like 4 and 2 thirds. So mixed numbers have an integer here. And our fractions are going to be improper fractions, not mixed stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. So to multiply fractions, we have, multiply fractions, we have, thank you. Multiply fractions, we have 4 steps. Step number 1 is rename the fraction from a mixed numeral, a mixed fraction, like that, a mixed number, to an improper fraction, like this. Okay, so we're going to rename like that. It's the first thing we're going to do every time. Number 2, we're going to multiply the numerator. And you'll remember the numerator is the top number up here. Say it in Thai. Okay? And step 3 is going to be to multiply the denominator. And you'll remember the denominator is the bottom number here, or in Thai it's sort. Okay? And 4, the last thing we're going to do, always with everything we do with fractions, is simplify. If we ever have a fraction, the last thing we need to do is simplify. So, simplify in Thai means ทำให้เศษส่วนทำให้เป็นเศษส่วนอย่างต่ำ Okay, so over here you can see we're going to try to rename. We don't need to rename. This is a fraction and this is a fraction. So renaming is good. We're going to multiply the numerators right here. 1 times 2 is 2. And we're going to multiply the denominators. So 2 times 3 is 6. So we're good. And then we're going to simplify. 2 over 6 is equal to 1 over 3. So let's look. Try it. Having trouble with my touch here. So, step number 1, remember? Step number 1 is rename. So we're going to rename these, but this is a fraction and this is a fraction, so we're okay here. Step number 2 is multiply the numerators. So I'm going to rewrite this over here, 1/2, and I don't like x because I teach some higher math, okay? 1 times 1/3, so we're going to multiply the numerators. That's 1 times 1, and that is equal to 1. And then our step 3, we're going to multiply the denominators, and that is 2 times 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So here we go. And step 4 is, that's right, simplify. So we need to simplify, but this is okay now, so we're done. And our answer is 1/6. Let's try a different one. Kind of almost the same, so you'll see what it looks like. Then we'll get a little bit harder after that. What's our step 1? That's right. Rename. That's okay, and that's okay. So 1/8 times 1/9. Our second step, step 2, is multiply the numerators. So that's 1 times 1, which is equal to 1. Our step 3, I'm getting kind of cluttered here. I'm going to draw a line. Our step 3 is multiply the denominators. So that is 8 times 9. 8 times 9 is 72. And our step 4 is what? Always. Simplify. So we simplified here. So our answer is 1 over 72. Let's get a little bit harder, okay? This time, we have a negative over here. All right. But you'll see that's not really that difficult. So, what's our and? I forgot. And we have a 2 over here. So, yeah, the first time it's not a fraction. So, step number 1 is rename. So this 2 is not a fraction, so we need to make it a fraction. I'm going to make it 2 over 1. And then we're going to have negative 3/4. Our step 2 is multiply the numerators. So that is 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. And our step 3 is multiply the denominators, and that is 1 times 4, or 4. Now we still have one thing that we didn't multiply, okay? Over here we have a positive number. Over here we have a positive number, and over here we have a negative number. So a positive number times a negative number is a negative number. So all these are going to be negative. All right, and our step 4 is what? Always simplify. So here we can see 6 is 2 times 3, and 4 is 2 times 2. And I can get rid of those 2's, and then so my answer is negative 3/2. Okay, so let's move on. We'll do it one more time, something similar. Okay, so let's look over here. Let's see, over here I have a mixed number. So when we go to step 1 and rename, we need to rename this mixed number. So let me write it over here. So I have 2/5 plus, and I want some other amount of fifths, and this just needs to be the 4. And 4 times 5 is 20, so 4 is 20/5, and that means my improper fraction is 22/5. So I'm going to rewrite my problem here. 1/2 times 22/5. Okay, second step is multiply the numerator. All right, so that's 1 times 22, which is 22. Our step 3 is multiply the denominators, and that is 2 times 5, or 10. And our step 4 is simplify, to simplify here. So we're going to simplify. 22 is 2 times 11, and 10 is 2 times 5. So now I can get rid of those 2's, and I'm left with 11 over 5. So my answer is 11 over 5. So I hope that that helps you out. I have a problem for you to think about. And negative 2/3 times negative 6/8. Can you do that one? We'll see.